Gamers, goofy goobers, Nintendo lawyers, welcome to the show about the games I'm playing and the new releases that I'm excited about. This is our third episode and it's the 101st video published to this channel, and here's to many more. Okay, enough of that, let's get into it with Return to Moria.
The Forge's fire has long gone cold. Under the mountain of Durin's folk.
This is a survival crafting theme game with co-op that takes place in the iconic setting from Tolkien fantasy, the Mines of Moria. It's being developed by Free Range Games and is coming on October 24th for the PC at a lower asking price of $45.99 Canuck bucks or $40 American dollars. So I'm not expecting AAA quality cutscenes and all that, but hopefully the game's presentation can live up to the rich source material that it has to work with. And again, well-loved games like The Lord of the Rings Online show how to Tolkien fans it's more important that a company take their time to make the game pay homage to the books correctly, rather than just have flashy graphics. PS5 owners will have to wait until December 5th to get this one, and Xbox Series console owners will be waiting until 2024. This is really one of the best settings in all of Lord of the Rings fantasy, and it's centered on the extremely interesting and entertaining dwarves.
Speak, friend, and enter.
I mean, come on, everybody loves dwarves.
It's the dwarves that go swimming with little hairy women.
Now this probably almost definitely isn't going to drop this fall, or even this year for that matter, but going on with that fantasy theme, I just wanted to quickly mention this trailer which actually came out in late August and I've somehow missed it until now. I mean, just look at this. This open-world action-adventure RPG is coming from Korean developer and publisher Pearl Abyss. But yeah, like I said, there's sadly no release date as of yet, however there's tons of gameplay videos coming out, and I'll be linking my favorites of those in the description below. Crimson Desert is supposed to be coming to the PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox One, and Series consoles, so I'll be keeping an eye out for news about it. In a minute I'm going to cover a bunch of exciting indie games coming out soon, but I'm not really sure how I can classify this next studio as they're a small team, but their 2020 release Ghost Runner came out swinging with insanely polished gameplay and presentation that rivaled the best AAA games had to offer at the time. They're looking to follow up that great game with the sequel, Ghost Runner 2, dropping on October 26th. These games are difficult, but also very addicting as you chase that parkour samurai flow state through the game's oppressive atmosphere. There's a demo for the sequel available on Steam which has been received well by players and critics, so it looks like this is shaping up to be another one that will punch well above its weight. This is coming to Steam, the Epic Store, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series consoles. Moving on to some more cyberpunk-themed awesomeness, Flashback 2 is coming a bit later on November 16th. This is a sequel to the much-loved action-adventure platformer Flashback. It's actually been more than 30 years since that game was released back in 1992. The game supposedly holds true to the gameplay of that classic title in many ways, while also evolving by allowing players to break out of the second dimension with these beautifully crafted 2.5D scenes. This cyberpunk aesthetic just oozes style, and the original game's creator, Paul Cuisset, is at the center of the project to make sure it pays homage to the original, while also giving us an exciting adventure to play through. I'm looking forward to when it arrives for the new and old gen consoles, as well as the PC and the Switch. Continuing on with our oppressive sci-fi themes, Fortune's Run is coming from indie developer Team Fortune. The game takes this dark sci-fi cyberpunk theme and packs it into an immersive sim FPS. The story and atmosphere of this one intrigued me, and I think these 90s graphics are really working for this game. It released into Steam Early Access on September 27th to a 93% very positive. It's available for Windows as well as Linux. Fans of the game have touted its stealth, satisfying melee and ranged gameplay as well as the game's presentation, but some detractors have mentioned the unskippable tutorial as a drawback, or have even disliked the core gameplay feel. As for me, I'll likely be hopping into it closer to its full 1.0 release whenever that happens. Speaking of games with an overtly dark tone, El Paso Elsewhere is the much anticipated sequel to El Paso Everywhere.
So let's take it from the top. Max is Dracula, Lord of the Vampires. 15 miles from here, in a tiny motel in El Paso, Texas, she's conducting a ritual that will end the world as we know it.
The The game launched for Xbox One and Xbox Series consoles, as well as the PC on September 26th. The game has received strong reception from fans, getting a 95% very positive on Steam. As for the critical reception, it received an 81 on Metacritic, as well as on OpenCritic. Coming in at a low price of $20 American for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC, the game is heavily Max Payne inspired, and it delivers on the slow motion, shoot 'em up action that you'd expect from such a game. But the game also takes a turn into some spooky horror elements with its surprisingly strong story. Some found the game to be a bit too easy given the abundance of health packs, so hopefully a bit of tuning for the difficulty can be patched into the game later. Station to Station touts itself as a chill take on the train and puzzle game genres. It offers this really cute voxel-based presentation and features several biomes, and many puzzles for you to work your way through. I'm looking forward to kicking back and laying down some tracks in this title developed by Galaxy Grove and published by Prismatica. The game released on Steam on October 3rd to fairly strong reception, receiving an 89% very positive as well as a 78 on Metacritic as of writing. So yeah, people are really enjoying this, but I should mention that one of the reviews I watched found that this was a bit more challenging than they expected. But if you're a fan of puzzle games, I definitely suggest checking this one out. Alright, let's talk about my fall Game Pass picks. To start off, I just want to shout out Warhammer 40k Darktide, which released onto Xbox Series consoles on October 4th. This game had a bit of a rocky PC launch, but it's always possessed that undeniable fun factor. If you're a Warhammer nerd like me, then you ought to give this one a look. I find the gameplay really satisfying, just like Vermintide was, and it's had almost a year to be polished up by now. This one also features Xbox PC crossplay. The new Forza Motorsport, or Forza Motorsport 8 as it should have been called, obviously, is set to release onto Game Pass on October 10th. And demos, as well as the early access of the game on YouTube, have looked very positive, with this accessible yet deep racing series looking to deliver yet another motorsport-centered title to the Xbox Series consoles and PC. It's been 6 years since the last Motorsport entry, and this non-open world game is a far horizon from the last two Forza games. Sorry, the lack of local split screen is a bit of a damper on my excitement, but I'm still looking forward to jumping into this one with my Xbox friends with the available crossplay. I like to try out genres I haven't played too much of on Game Pass. The Lamplighters League is one of those games for me. This is a turn-based strategy RPG game with this gloomy, magic-fueled alternate history 1930s setting. This one came out on October 3rd to a decent reception, getting a respectable 78% very positive from gamers on Steam. Critically, it got a 77 on Metacritic and a 73 on OpenCritic. The voice acting, music, writing, and presentation are really high quality, but unfortunately some early teething issues such as poor performance on PC have somewhat dampened the game's reception. Might be worth waiting to buy, but I definitely recommend checking this one out if you're a Game Pass subscriber. This is available on Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC. Now these next two were actually added to Game Pass back in September. First one is Grizz. This is a critically acclaimed indie game with this beautiful art style, garnering an 84 on Metacritic and an 86 on OpenCritic, as well as a 96% overwhelmingly positive review score on Steam from over 57,000 unique reviews. The game is a fairly short experience, typically taking only about 3 hours to complete, which makes it a perfect Game Pass title for you to check off the list. This game is also available on like every platform out there, including mobile. The other September Game Pass edition I forgot to recommend is Solar Ash. It is also in the vein of artistic flow state games. Solar Ash is a beautiful action platformer coming from the indie dev team at Heart Machine and published by Annapurna Interactive. This released in 2021 to a warm reception from both fans and critics. Currently sits at a 78 on Metacritic, a 77 on OpenCritic, and an impressive 90% very positive on Steam from over 600 reviews. Definitely worth checking out on Game Pass, and it's actually available on all modern platforms except mobile. Also coming to Game Pass is this highly anticipated city builder, City Skylines 2. It's coming to PC Game Pass on October 24th. I haven't played the original, but that game is sitting at a staggering 93% very positive on Steam from over 180,000 unique reviews. The sequel has a hard act to follow up, so hopefully the developers at Colossal Order can deliver. So that's it for my Game Pass picks. But I just want to quickly shout out Warhaven. This is a free-to-play medieval fantasy warfare game from Nexon that released into open beta on Steam on September 20th. This one has been a bit divisive for players, getting only a 58% mixed on Steam as of writing, but I actually have been really enjoying this one. I made a first impressions video of the game, which I'll link below. I found this to be pretty addicting, and I often found myself saying just one more game. Something about the combat and the theme just clicked for me. Anyways, if you haven't tried it, I suggest checking it out for yourself. Now for our last segment, I'm going to talk about FPS things. So if that's not your thing, then you may not find this interesting. But before you go, please just consider clicking that like button if you enjoyed. Anyways, talking about shooter games, it's been over a decade since I last played a mainline Call of Duty game, not since Black Ops 2, but this year's release is calling out to my wallet with its recreations of iconic maps from the old MW2, such as High Rise and Skid Row. These newer COD games always look really fun, if not a bit overly formulaic, but yeah, that brand new game price tag definitely gives me some pause, especially when I know this game will likely have additional microtransactions as well. However, the game that is looking to spoil Call of Duty's party this season is X-Defiant, the free-to-play shooter being headed up by Ubisoft San Francisco. This looks like it has a ton of potential, and reviews of the playtest suggest that it has really good game feel and some very competent map design. The game is supposedly pretty close to the finish line in terms of development, with playtests being held for the game already, so we'll probably see the official release in the coming weeks or months. Both COD and X-Defiant have crossplay, so I'm excited to enjoy these with some of my console friends while I'm on PC. I know some people hate the balance issues that crossplay can introduce, but as a non-competitive player, I personally enjoy the feature. Also, like COD, this is coming to all modern platforms except mobile and Switch for now. So that's all I have for you in this episode. I just want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you who has been watching the videos this year. It means a lot to me. I've got a ton of great stuff planned for the channel, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you. If you want to chat with me, then be sure to check out the description for a link to my Discord. There you can also find links to my stuff on other platforms, as well as links to the games I discussed today. I'll see you in December for the next episode of the New Video Games Show. Thanks for watching.